Good morning, students. Today we are going to see about ECG. What is ECG? ECG is called as electrocardiogram. An electrocardiogram, which is otherwise called as ECG or EKG from the German word electrocardiogram, it is a recording of the electrical signals that is propagated through the heart. So what is this ECG? It is a complete record of the action potentials that is produced by all the heart muscle fibers during the heartbeat, each and every heartbeat. That is one cardiac cycle. Okay, the instrument used to record the changes of an ECG is called as electrocardiogram. So who discovered this particular technique? So it was a Dutch physiologist called as Einthoven William. He discovered this technique called as ECG. So he was considered as the father of electrocardiogram and was awarded Nobel Prize for his contribution in this field in the year 1924. Now we should understand what is electrocardiography. Electrocardiography is the technique by which electrical activities of the heart are studied. So how it is studied? You all know that the action potential is being initiated and the action potential will be generated throughout the heart. So the spread of the action potential, that is the spread of excitation through the myocardium, produces local electrical potentials. So these electrical potentials are captured. So they show low intensity current, or low intensity current flows through the body which act as a volume conductor. So the current can be picked up from the surface of the body by using suitable electrodes called as leads. The electrodes are called as leads and they are recorded in the form of electrocardiogram. Electrocardiograph is the instrument or the machine by which the electrical activities of the heart are recorded. So ECG, or you can call it as EKG, is the electrocardiogram. Is the record of or graphical registration of electrical activities of the heart, which occur prior to the onset of mechanical activity. That is, initially the action potentials will be generated and it will produce electrical signals, so which will be transmitted throughout the heart. So after which the mechanical activities of the heart will begin and the contraction and relaxation of the heart will be happening, and this will help in the functioning of the heart. So it is the electrocardiogram is the summed electrical activity of all cardiac muscle fibers recorded from the surface of the body. So different parts of the body, the leads will be connected to the different parts of the body, which we will be seeing shortly. The paper that is used for recording ECG is called the ECG paper. ECG machine amplifies the electrical signals produced from the heart and records the signal on a moving ECG paper. Electrocardiographic grid, it is referred as the markings or the lines which is drawn on the ECG paper. So ECG paper has horizontal and vertical lines at regular intervals of 1 millimeter. That is, every fifth line 5 millimeter it is thickened. So why do you take electrocardiogram or ECG? What is the use of ECG? So ECG is used for determining and diagnosing the following things, okay, anomaly and also in abnormal conditions. So it is used for monitoring the heart rate, the heart rhythm, abnormal electrical conduction, poor blood flow through the heart muscle, heart attack, coronary heart disease, hypertrophy of the heart chamber. So next we are going to see about the ECG leads. So what are ECG leads? So ECG is recorded by placing a series of leads as shown in the picture. That is, the series of electrodes will be placed on the surface of the body. These electrodes are called as ECG leads, and these electrodes are connected to the ECG machine. Electrodes are fixed on the limbs, as you can see, and on different places. Usually the right arm, left arm and the left leg are chosen. So heart is said to be the center, and you can see from the picture here, that heart is shown as a triangular picture. Okay, this triangle is called as the Einthoven triangle. So it is an imaginary equilateral triangle drawn by connecting the roots of all the three limbs in a triangular fashion. You can see in the first picture that there are three leads, lead 1, lead 2 and lead 3, and it has been connected to the right arm, left arm and the left leg. In the picture on the right hand side, you can see that a triangular, imaginary triangular triangle is given, that is called as Einthoven's triangle, and you can see the positions of the different leads which is attached in a triangular position. And you can see in the below there is a picture called as that is the heart is acting as a dipole. You can see both the positive and negative charges, and they are acting as a dipole so that they can conduct electricity. So ECG leads, so what are they? So ECG is recorded in 12 leads, which are generally classified into two categories. So they are bipolar leads and unipolar leads. So what are bipolar limb leads? It is called as bipolar limb leads, otherwise known as standard limb leads. So two limbs are connected to obtain these leads, and both the electrodes are active recording electrodes. They are called as active recording electrode. That is, one electrode is positive and the other electrode is negative. So you can see from the picture there are three standard limb leads, which is called as limb lead 1, limb lead 2 and limb lead 3. So what is limb lead 1? So limb lead 1 is obtained by connecting the right arm and the left arm. So you can see from the picture, right arm is connected to the negative terminal of the instrument and left arm is connected to the positive terminal. Lead 2 is obtained by connecting the right arm and left arm. You can see the right arm is connected to the negative terminal of the instrument and the left arm is connected to the positive terminal. What is lead 3? Lead 3 is obtained by connecting the left arm and the left leg. Left arm is connected to the negative terminal of the instrument and the left leg is connected to the positive terminal. So next you can see the unipolar leads. So unipolar leads are of two types, unipolar limb leads and unipolar chest leads. So here one electrode is active electrode and the other one is the indifferent electrode. So active electrode is positive and the indifferent electrode is serving as the composite negative electrode. So you can see from the picture there are 6 leads. They are actually called as the chest leads. So unipolar limb leads are of different types. They are called as the AVR lead, AVL lead and AVF lead. So unipolar limb leads are otherwise called as augmented limb leads or augmented voltage leads. So active electrode is connected to one of the limbs. Indifferent electrode is obtained by connecting the other two limbs through a resistance. What is unipolar chest leads? So you can see from that is seen in the picture. Chest leads are also called as V leads or precardial chest leads. So here the indifferent electrode is obtained by connecting the three limbs, that is the left arm, left leg and the right arm, through a resistance of about 5000 ohms. Active electrode is placed on 6 points over the chest, as you can see in the picture. These electrode is known as the chest electrode, and the 6 points over the chest are called as V1, V2, V3, V4 and V5 and V6. So V indicates the vector which shows the direction of the flow of current. So what is the position, where are the V1, V2 and these leads are placed? So over the V1 is placed over the, you can see, fourth intercostal space near right sternal margin, whereas V2 is placed on the fourth intercostal space near the left sternal margin, whereas V3 is placed, you can see, in between the V2 and V4. V4 is placed over the left fifth intercostal space in the mid clavicular line. V5 is placed over the left fifth intercostal space on the anterior axillary line. V6 is placed over the left fifth intercostal space on the mid axillary line. In this picture you can see the position of the chest leads for recording 12 lead ECG. So it is also actually recorded as a 12 lead ECG electrocardiogram. Okay, you can see the position of the leads on the chest, on the limbs, okay, etc. And here in clinical practice, the electrodes are positioned on the arms and legs and at 6 positions on the chest to record the ECG. The electrocardiograph amplifies the heart's electrical signal and produces 12 different tracings from different combinations of the limb and chest leads. So each limb and chest electrodes records slightly different electrical activity because of the difference in its position relative to the heart. That is why it is called as the Einthoven triangle. So it is comparing all these recording with one another and with the normal recording. By the ECG we are able to determine any defect in the heart. Okay, any disorders of the heart, whether it is if the conducting pathway is normal or abnormal, or if the heart is enlarged, if certain regions of the heart are damaged, and what is the cause of the chest pain, etc. So this particular picture shows all the 12 different positions of the electrocardiogram. I told you there will be 12 pictures will be taken for the ECG. And here this picture shows the characteristics of the normal electrocardiogram. So electrocardiogram is the record of the potential fluctuations that is being recorded during the cardiac cycle. So during one cardiac cycle, what happens, how the action potential is generated, and what is the recordings of the current, the fluctuations of the potential that is being created is recorded in an ECG. So the normal ECG, you can see from the picture, it is composed of different waves which has been mentioned as P, Q, R, S and T. So you can see the P wave separately, and QRS you can see it as a complex wave, and the other wave you can see the S, that is T. So apart from this, you can see many segments also. ECG is recorded because of the spreading of the excitation in the atria. So starting from the atria, then it is proceeded to the interventricular septum, and then the ventricular walls, and finally repolarization of the myocardium. So it involves both the depolarization and repolarization, and also a series of positive and negative waves are being captured, and they are designated as P, Q, R, S and T recordings during each cardiac cycle. That is, one thing is the P, Q, R, S, T is one cardiac cycle. So the cycle gets repeated. In a typical record, you can see three clearly recognizable waves. You can see it is like a peak. You can see that is 0, and below that it is negative, and above it is positive. So you can see the P wave. The first wave is called as the P wave. It is a small upward deflection on the ECG. So what does a P wave tell us? P wave represents the atrial depolarization. So you can see from the next picture, it is a that is what happens, it represents the atrial depolarization. Where it starts, it spreads from the SA node through the contractile fibers of both the atrium. So it starts as a from the atrium, that is from the SA node. The second wave, that is a complex called as the QRS complex, begins as a downward deflection. You can see from the picture that it is Q is downward, okay, negative, and then it proceeds upwards, that is to positive. So it starts as a downward deflection and continues as a large upright triangular wave upwards positively charged, and ends as a downward wave. So the QRS complex, it is actually representing the rapid ventricular depolarization. So the action potential starts from the SA node, that is, it proceeds through the entire atrium and results in the contraction of the atrium, and then goes downward to the ventricle. So ventricular septum. So it is the depolarization of the ventricular depolarization, and the action potential spreads through the ventricular contractile fiber. Then you can see the third wave. So third wave is a dome shaped upward deflection called as the T wave. T wave, you can see it is a dome shape, and it is also positive and upward. So it is a dome shaped deflection, which is called as the ventricular repolarization. It represents ventricular repolarization. So it occurs as the ventricle starts to relax. So the T wave is smaller, you can see, and it is wider than the QRS complex, because repolarization occurs very slowly when you compare it with the depolarization. So during the plateau period of steady depolarization, you can see ECG tracing is flat. So you can see the flat wave that is in between two cycles. So in a normal reading of the ECG, you can see the different size of the waves. So the size of a wave give you a clear picture of the person's heart, whether the heart is normal or whether there is any abnormalities. That is the wave, that is the P, Q, R, S complex, that is the peak, and the T. These segments, okay, that is the increase or decrease of the peak will show whether the heart is functioning normally or whether there is some abnormalities. For example, larger P waves indicate enlargement of an atrium. So atrium, because it involves the atrial depolarization, if the P wave is enlarged to a great extent, it means that there is some enlargement of the atrium. Similarly, an enlarged Q wave, so it can indicate that there is some myocardial infarction. If there is an enlarged R wave, it indicates that there is enlarged ventricle. So ventricles can be enlarged. So during the ventricular enlargement, the PQRS at peak can become very high. The T wave is flatter than normal. You can see the T wave is flatter. It's a dome-shaped structure. It is, and when the heart muscles are receiving insufficient oxygen, for example, in coronary heart disease, the T wave may be elevated. You can see the wave can be high. So these are the normal nature of the waves. When there is any enlargement or any dysfunction of the heart, the peak of the wave or the area of the wave under the different complexes can be different. It can be short or it can be enlarged, which will show that there is some abnormality. So now we will see the pathway of the electrical impulses through the heart and how the changes are recorded as the PQRS complex. So as we have seen, P wave is the positive wave and the first wave in the ECG. It is also called as the atrial depolarization or atrial complex. So how is P wave produced? You can see from the picture, P wave is produced due to the depolarization of the atrium. So depolarization starts from the SA node and it spreads to all the parts of the atrial muscles. So atrial depolarization is recorded, but atrial repolarization is not recorded as a separate wave as in the ECG, as in the T segment. It is not recorded because it actually merges with the ventricular repolarization of the QRS complex. So only the atrial depolarization is recorded. The normal duration of the P wave is, you can see from the table, it is 0.1 seconds and the amplitude of the P wave is 0.1 to 0.12 millivoltage. So P wave normally is, you can see it is upright and positive, and the variations in the P wave, the amplitude morphology will help in the diagnosis of several cardiac problems such as atrial hypertrophy or dilation, any difference in the dilatation, or systole, atrial diasystole, hyperkalemia. Even the increase in the potassium level can be measured. That is the increase in the phosphorus can be measured, and if there is any sinoatrial block, that also can be captured by the difference in the P complex. So what is QRS complex? QRS complex is also called as the initial ventricular complex. So Q wave is small negative wave. It is you can see it is slightly lower than the baseline, and it continues as a that is a RS complex. So the R is a tall wave, which is a positive wave. So R is followed by a small negative wave, the S wave. So what does this mean? QRS complex is because of the depolarization of the ventricular muscle. So Q wave is due to the depolarization of the basal membrane portion of the interventricular septum. You can see the next picture, that is the second and the third picture. You can see that is a QRS complex, how the arrows shows the propagation of the wave. So Q wave is due to the depolarization of the interventricular septum. R wave is due to the depolarization of the apical portion of the interventricular septum. You can see how they propagate from the AV node to the Purkinje system and the bundle of His. Okay. So S wave is due to the depolarization of the basal portion of. You can see how it is propagated in the basal portion of the that is the ventricles. Now the duration of the QRS complex is 0.08 and 0.1 second. Amplitude, you can see it is a 0.1, that is Q is 0.1 to 0.2, and for R it is 1 millivolts, and for S it is 0.4 millivolts. So what is the significance of the clinical significance of QRS complex? It helps in the diagnosis of several cardiac problems. You can say that is there is any block in the ventricle that can be diagnosed. That is you can call it as the QRS, that is bundle block or ventricle block or enlargement. In that case, the QRS will be prolonged or even it will be deformed. And also the hyperkalemia can also be noticed. Next is the T wave. So T wave is a final ventricular complex, and you can see it is a positive wave. It is a dome shaped wave. So this wave is due to the repolarization of the ventricle muscle. So the normal duration of the T wave is 0.2 seconds and the amplitude is 0.3 millivolts. So the clinical significance of the T wave, it may vary in the amplitude and morphology in different conditions like acute myocardial ischemia, or during old age, or during hyperventilation, anxiety, some myocardial infarction, hypertrophy, and also pericarditis. There is another wave called as the U wave, which is not usually seen in the electrocardiogram. It is supposed to be because of the repolarization of the papillary muscles, and this can appear in the ECG in cases of the hypercalcemia or thyrotoxicosis and hypokalemia. It can also occur in the myocardial ischemia. So this particular slide shows the, what is PQRS T complex. So this we have explained already in the previous slide, and you can see the one ECG recording is one cardiac cycle is recorded as the PQRS. After that there is a flat line, then the second cycle continues. So this picture you can see, apart from the PQRS complex, there are some segments. So you can see PQ interval, ST segment and QT interval. So these segments we can see in the next slide. So what are the segments? The first segment or interval, you can call it as the PR interval. So you can see it in the table that it is a PR interval. It is the onset of P wave and onset of Q wave. So what is the significance of the PR interval? So PR interval signifies that the atrial depolarization is taking place and the wave is, or the impulse is conducted through the AV node. From the SA node, it is conducted through the AV node. So it shows the duration of the conduction of the impulse from the SA node to ventricles through the atrial muscle and AV node. So what is the duration of the conduction? That is seen by the, that is a segment, the PR interval. So the time taken for the conduction of the electrical impulse from the SA node to the AV node. So that is shown by this. So it also represents the atrial depolarization. You can see from the picture that is the normal duration of the PR interval is 0.18 seconds and varies between 0.12 and 0.2 seconds. So if it is more than 0.2 seconds, its significance is the delay in the conduction of the impulse from the SA node to the ventricles. So usually the delay occurs at the AV node, so it is called as the AV nodal delay. Variation in the duration of the PR interval will help us to diagnose several cardiac problems. If the PR, the delay is very high, there is a prolonged delay, it can be seen in the brachycardia and heart block. If it is shortened, it can be seen in the case of tachycardia and some kind of Wolff-Parkinson syndrome, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, etc. Next one is the QT interval. The QT interval is the interval between the onset of Q wave and the end of the T wave. You can see from the previous picture, that is QT, it is the onset of the Q wave and end of the T wave. So it indicates ventricular depolarization and also ventricular repolarization. That is, its significance is the conduction of electrical activity in the ventricles. So the duration of this QT interval is 0.4 and 0.42 seconds. So what is the clinical significance? The QT interval can be prolonged in some diseases, for example myocardial infarction or myocarditis, hypocalcemia and hypothyroidism. So QT interval can be shortened, okay, it is much more lesser than the usual in some cases like a hypercalcemia. Next you can see is the ST segment. ST segment is the time interval between the end of the S wave and the onset of the T wave. So it is also an isoelectric period, and it is called as the, that is the point where the ST segment starts is called as the J point. It is a junction between the QRS complex and the ST segment. The normal duration of the ST segment is 0.08 seconds. Here also there is any variation in the duration of the ST segment can be recorded, and it can deviate from the normal, and it can show some pathological conditions. So elevation in the ST segment occur in the case of there is a myocardial infarction, or if there is a block in the left bundle branch, or in the case of acute pericarditis. So when the ST segment can be short, in case of acute myocardial ischemia, or there is a posterior myocardial infarction, or some hypertrophy of the ventricle and hypokalemia. So the segment can also be prolonged in case of hypocalcemia or shortened in case of hypercalcemia. Next is the RR interval. RR interval is the time between the two consecutive R waves. So R that is one cardiac cycle. So RR from distance between one R and the next R. That is its significance is that is the duration of one cardiac cycle. So the duration of one cardiac cycle or RR interval is 0.8 seconds. So measurement of this RR will help us to calculate exactly what is the heart rate and heart rate variability. So heart rate is, it is calculated by measuring the one cardiac cycle, that is the R waves per unit time. Heart rate, number of beats per unit time. So that is how it is calculated. Heart rate variability, it refers to the beat to beat variations. What is the variation between each and every beat? So under resting conditions, you can see the ECG of the healthy, that is heartbeat can be seen as a very normal rhythmic fashion. Okay, periodic variation in the RR intervals. Rhythmic, it is called as the respiratory sinus arrhythmia. That is, it fluctuates with the phases of the respiration. So during inspiration and expiration, it actually decreases. So the heart rate variability can decrease or increase in some problems. For example, if a person is doing exercise, the heart rate may vary, it may increase. Okay, not only that, this is normal condition, but during some pathological conditions also, the heart rate may vary. For example, the cardiovascular dysfunction, hypertension, BP, in that case also the heart rate varies. It becomes high, or in the case of diabetes mellitus, or patients having some psychiatric problems such as panic and anxiety. So next what we are going to see is the correlation of the ECG waves and along with the atrial and the ventricular systole. So what happens? So that is what we are going to see. So how the atria and the ventricles contract, relax, and what happens during the depolarization and the repolarization, and what are the time taken between the these particular conduction pathway, and how the action potential is being propagated along a particular path. So we all know that the action potential is propagated from the starting from the SA node to the AV node, and then it moves on to the Purkinje fibers and the bundle of his, and so the blood flows in a particular direction. So the blood flows from the atrium to the ventricles in a downward manner. So from the atrium to the the lungs and the aorta, it flows in an upward fashion. So that is the beauty of the functioning of the heart. So you can see there are two terms called as the systole and diastole. So what is systole and what is diastole? So systole refers to the phase of contraction. The phase of contraction is called as the systole, and the phase of relaxation is called as the diastole. So ECG waves are recorded at a particular timing. So the timing, it shows that the heart rate, or what is the heart rate? 75 beats per minute. So how the timings are followed? 75 rates per minute, and what is one cardiac cycle? So what happens during one cardiac cycle? That is the PQRS complex is shown in this particular picture. So you can see the pictures, that is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So these are the pictures. Number 1 showing that the cardiac action potential starts from the SA node. It propagates throughout the entire atrium, the muscles involved in the atrium, which allows the muscles to contract, and then it flows downwards through to the AV node. So this happens in about 0.03 seconds. So this is called as the atrial depolarization, or atrial muscles contract. So the fibers of the atrial muscle contract, and this is shown in the ECG as the P wave. So now the P wave appears in the ECG. When the atrium contracts, what happens? The P wave appears in the ECG. After the number 2, the second picture, there is shows that it is after the P wave begins. What happens? Starting the atria begins to contract. This is called as the atrial systole. So now the action potential is conducted slowly at the AV node, because the fibers present here are much smaller, and the gap junctions are also less. So there is a delay. So there is a delay, about 0.1 seconds delay from the time taken from the atria to contract. So this delay is because it needs time to add the blood into the next, that is the next chamber ventricle. So this should happen before the ventricular systole begins. So that is why there is a delay of 0.1 seconds. So this gives time for the atrium to push the blood into the next ventricle. So the action potential propagates rapidly after entering the AV bundle. Now after the delay, the propagation starts at the AV bundle. So about that is 2 seconds after the onset of P wave, it is propagated through the AV node and it goes on to the Purkinje fibers and the bundle of His and the entire muscles of the ventricle. So what happens? The depolarization of the ventricle begins. So the depolarization, it progresses down the ventricle, down the septum, and it goes upwards, and so that it will have time to push the blood to the aorta and the pulmonary trunk, okay, in an upward manner. So at the same time, what happens when the ventricle is undergoing depolarization, the atrium is undergoing repolarization. But this repolarization of the atrium is not actually evident or visible, or it is not recorded by the ECG because of the larger QRS complex. So this QRS complex masks the atrial repolarization. Next is, you can see, that is the contraction of the ventricular system. So when after the blood completely fills the ventricle and the ventricle starts contracting. So it begins shortly after the QRS complex appears. So when the ventricles start contracting, the ECG, the QRS complex appears, and it continues during the ST segment. So as contraction proceeds from the apex towards the base of the heart, what happens? Blood is squeezed upward to the through the semilunar walls into the aorta and the pulmonary trunk. Then what is the thing number 5? You can see repolarization of the ventricular fibers will begin. So it begins. How does it begin? It begins at the apex and spreads throughout the ventricular myocardium. So this repolarization will cause the wave T wave in the ECG about 0.4 second after the onset of the P wave. So next is the that is after the T wave, the ventricle starts relaxing. So by about 0.6 seconds, ventricular repolarization is complete and ventricular contractile fibers are relaxed. So after the ventricular contraction, there is a small delay of 0.2 seconds. So this delay will enable the contractile fibers of both the atrium and the ventricles to relax. So after this, there is again the appearance of the next P wave. There is a gap of 0.8 seconds. So after a gap of 0.8 seconds, the next P wave appears again in the ECG. So again the atria begins to contract and the cycle is repeated as the action potential is propagated from the SA node and then the AB node, and it proceeds in the same fashion and the cycle is repeated. So that is the change between the RR segment. The RR segment, as I have mentioned earlier, will denote the end of one cardiac cycle. Then the pressure associated with the relaxation and the contraction of the heart chambers will allow we have already seen about the pressure difference, how the heart chambers are filled, because there is a difference in the pressure between the different chambers of the heart. So this pressure will allow the heart to fill in an alternative manner, that is from the atrium first fills. When the atrium contracts, ventricle is in the relaxed position. When the atrium relaxes, ventricle is in the contracted position. So the blood is pushed to two different chambers, from the atrium to the ventricle in a downward fashion, and from the ventricles to the aorta and the pulmonary trunk in an upward fashion. So this is because of the pressure differences. So next we will see what is the cardiac cycle in the another PPT. Thank you.